Welcome back, everyone. Tensions have reached a boiling point in Minneapolis after federal agents shot and killed a second U.S. citizen, this time on Saturday. The Trump administration says 37-year-old Alex Pretti approached the officers with a gun and the intent to attack. But ABC News analysis of multiple videos appears to contradict those claims. Let's bring in ABC News contributor and former Homeland Security Acting Secretary for Intelligence, John Cohen, for more on this. So, John, by now, we've all seen the videos. We've broken down the angles frame by frame. It seems like the government is essentially saying, don't believe what your own eyes see, which is leading some to not trust what federal agencies say. Tell us about the dangers of a society that loses trust in the federal government.
Yeah, Lindsay, if the public does not have confidence that law enforcement is operating legally and ethically, objectively, and in a non-discriminatory manner, if the public doubts information that comes from law enforcement, it can have very serious results. People will be less likely to provide law enforcement information about crimes they've witnessed or crimes that they were the victim of. They are less likely to comply with lawful orders, whether it's a police officer telling someone to act a certain way, or when law enforcement or other government officials tell people to evacuate at the scene of an emergency. They are much more likely to demonstrate violently or with destructive behavior when something happens or the law enforcement agency behaves in a way that they disagree with. So if we work really hard in law enforcement to make sure that the public can trust us and they have confidence in us, and what we're seeing increasingly is that trust and confidence is eroding.
And looking big picture here, what are the ramifications of situations like this continuing to happen?
What the implications are, or the potential is, that we're going to see more protests, and we're going to see state and locals having to make a choice of either continuing to cooperate with the federal government or focus on protecting the communities they serve. And if the relationship between federal law enforcement and its state and local colleagues erodes, then you're going to see increases in crime.
In your career, you've been in these types of tense situations. You've seen and used both lethal and non-lethal force to arrest people. What would you advise DHS, ICE, and other federal agencies now that it has gotten to this point?
Yeah, they need to take a hard look at how they're conducting their operations. In the words of Governor Abbott from Texas, the administration and DHS in particular needs to recalibrate its enforcement operations, focus more on targeting violent criminals, focus much less on random patrols and subject and vehicle stops, particularly when they don't have reasonable suspicion to believe that a person is undocumented in violation of the Immigration and Naturalization Act. They should find more opportunities to work with their local colleagues. Focus on violent criminals. I have not met a police chief or a sheriff anywhere in the United States that wouldn't gladly work with the federal government to target violent gang members, drug traffickers, and other, terrorists and other violent criminals jointly in enforcement action. Focus on those activities. The locals are not going to work or are going to be reticent to engage or support civil immigration activities. But what they can do is make sure that they are notifying ICE when a person who is in local custody is subject to removal. Take seriously and objectively review allegations of excessive force or other inappropriate activity. And even if those reviews simply result in administrative change or training, which is something the department should be looking at very seriously based on the behaviors that we've seen in cities across the country by ICE and CBP personnel, that can help instill confidence. And then finally, tone down the rhetoric. No one's going to want to cooperate with you if you call them an insurrectionist, radical, or a domestic terrorist, and be accurate in the information that you provide the public.
John Cohen, appreciate your time as always. Thank you.